Well, it's the start of another day and we have got our brickwork up to DPC. That was done yesterday and we've just got it covered temporarily with a wide damp course. This is because there was a lot of rain forecast and we didn't want to ruin that nice work. So our job now is to get the insides, the oversites finalised. And what we're going to do in this visit is we're going to just take away all of the slop, backfill in around the trenches or the inside of the brickwork and blockwork. We're going to cut out this concrete path that we've left here. We're going to use the hardcore in here. We've also got some other hardcore that we've been keeping back as we're finding it. We've been breaking that up. That's also going to go in there as well. Now we're not going to get to the stage of sand blinding because we're going to be taking out this corner of the building. Roofs are coming off and then we'll be doing the oversights when we can get the floors to join with the floors inside and get a nice damp proof membrane junction, etc. We're going to drop in there, get it all sorted, start filling some of the outside in as well, and doing an important job as well. We are going to be concreting in between the cavities with a lean mix, and this will be done up to about 225 below DPC, and then we strike that off on a slight angle as well, and that basically solidifies that cavity brickwork when you're backfilling and all that sort of stuff, and stops it from filling up with water because water will get in there if there's water in the ground. So we're going to crack on and get some work done. Right, what I've got now is I've got my staff, which is what we use for concreting, foundations. I use it also to do all kinds of other leveling jobs. I've got my laser on, I've got my receiver here. I'm going to go and put this on the existing finished floor in the doorway, and then I'm going to work out exactly the levels. I'll mark them on here of everything else that's coming afterwards, and then as long as I put my laser where I've got it, then that's fine. But before I do that, a little tip if you're using a laser is always check the laser is level, that it's not, doesn't need calibrating, that it's still functioning. They get a knock sometimes, they can go out, and you really don't want that. You'll be in trouble a bit later on down the line. So all I've done is I've marked my laser line, which I can see here. I've put a mark here, I've put a mark here, and I've checked it with my trusty level, and it was absolutely perfect. So as I lined up my two marks, it was absolutely beautiful. So the longer the level and the better the level, the more accurate it is. So I'm going to go and get my finished floor level now. So that's it, and I'll put a mark where that is on the staff. I'll just come and show you that. So I've marked the staff exactly where that is. Now that represents their finished floor level. Now we've got to allow for all of our build-ups. Their finished floor currently is about 12 millimeters. That's here. Then we're going to want a screed and insulation. I allow 160 mil for this. Mostly I use a liquid screed, which is around about 50 millimeters. So this is my insulation and screed here. Then I've got 100 millimeters of concrete, which is the oversite, which is here. So we'll mark that on there as well. So we'll put concrete there. And this section here, from here right down to the staff, is insulation and screed and finished floor. And then basically that's the top of our hardcore level, 150 of hardcore. So this section here is hardcore and sand blinding. So that's my hardcore concrete, insulation, screed and finished floor. So therefore I know when I move my staff up to the highest point here, that's the first bit, that's the dig I need. So if I pull that up to here now, and I'll go and check and that's the level. So I'll be reducing that lot down to this first mark, which is what we've done here. I'll just jump in here and show you. Let's get over here somewhere. There you go. So this is all the right level. All we've got to do is just push some of this excavation where we pulled the drain through round the outside, compact it well, start bringing some hardcore in, break it all up nice, compact it all up to the next level. And that's where we're going to go now. How are you getting on there?
Yeah, not too bad.
So what are you doing? Tell everyone what you're doing.
So what we're doing is filling the cavity 225 below the damp course. We've just built this letterbox of sorts. It's got a bit of 2x2 on the back, and then it's just locking into the brickwork, so we keep everything nice and tidy and clean. And then crafted this little thing, off cuts.
Yeah.
So we've got the angle falling away from the house.
Why is it an angle?
Keep the water off, keep the water falling away.
Yeah, so you're falling the concrete in that cavity from 225 out. Yep.
And then we've got the depth gauge, as you would.
Yep.
225 from the highest point there.
Yeah.
And so we can compact and level off at the same time.
And tell everyone why we do this.
For when we fill the hardcore in and starts pushing everything out and compacting it, keeps everything strong and rigid and stops the water coming in as well.
Yeah, it does. And you know, there's a big debate about this actually. People say, oh, you know, do I put the lean mix in between the cavities sort of low? And I think you have to. If you look at most building design, architects' drawings, look closely, they will always draw that lean mix, especially if you've got cavity work, which is the case in most cases, going down beneath the ground, say to a trench block. And I just like the solidity of it. But I like what you've done here. I like the letterbox. You're keeping it clean and you're doing a great job, mate. It looks a bit too good, really. So all right, mate, carry on. You've only got to finish the rest of that, and I'll carry on digging.
Sweet.
Usually in May we have nice weather, but it seemed as soon as we put our buckets in the ground, we had all kinds of weather, and that did cause me a few problems. Of course, you saw me having to put shuttering in because the sides of the trenches just didn't feel to me like they were going to be robust. We had heavy rain forecasts. We finished excavation on a Friday, the quickest we could get concrete. We had to pre-order like 7 days in advance. We already had it ordered, but there was a bank holiday Monday in between. That's why we had to do the shuttering. Anyway, I'm glad to say we are out of phase one, what I call phase one. We're up to DPC. We've got our oversites prepared, ready for blinding, ready for membrane, ready for concrete in. And I'm not going to do that in this visit because I'm going to remove the corner of the building, which encompasses this new footprint. So it's gone really well. We've done some really nice backfilling. We've got our concrete in our cavity now, which has got the slant on it. You saw that before. and we've had a good tidy up. It's all ship shape. We've got all of the drainage sorted everywhere. We've got a duct here for a new water main to be moulding underneath. And we're also, I'll just get my square. I'll just talk to you a little bit about setting out again, because I think it's quite important. So this part of the building is super old, super bendy, and it was never going to be a good idea to try and parallel our new work from here, because regardless of this building now, it's mostly going. All that we're going to be left with is the flank wall and a return. And we can't do a lot about that other than knock it down and build it again. So as I mentioned before, this end of the building was nice and true, nice and square. This was our start point. And from this, I took a square line. We projected that all the way out. And then we've started setting everything out from it. And what I really like to do once the brickies have got this all in to my datums is run round with a square and check all of my corners, and they're absolutely perfect. And I think that it's really important because, you know, when you're building, you want to make sure you start off on the right foot. I've got a huge gable roof here, a smaller gable roof on the end. I'm going to have a massive valley, and I want that to be a 90 degrees because it will be so nice to cut and everything else. I know a lot of chippies will be saying, I don't get the luxury of this when I turn up, and the builders have got it all over the place. But as I say before, and I say it so many times, we're generally the first in, the first out as carpenters. I come in to set buildings out, and here we go, let's get that on there. I come in to set buildings out and I finish them off as well and hand them over. So that's what it's all about. And I think that now I know I could pretty much measure and order kitchens and virtually everything. So I think it's important, guys, to really spend a bit of time in the ground and make sure that all of the measurements are exactly like they should be. And if in doubt, get someone else to check it, because I think that going forward now, I've got a really nice job. And if you actually look at it from this direction now, if you can imagine, regardless of this old wonky building, all that roof I'm going to have off, and we're going to be starting afresh. We're going to be 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and so on. And so the dominating elevations of this building will be perfectly true. We've got dormers, we've got gables with big verges, and we want it all to be absolutely spot on, and it will. So the next thing is handing over to the scaffolders. They're going to put me a scaffold up with some really nice weather protection. And I think it's going to be a worthwhile thing to do. May's, as I say, normally dry, and we've just had nothing but rain. It's raining now. But anyway, we've done it. It held me up. Join me again once we've got the scaffold up.